Hey y'all, good Saturday evening to you. All that remains is the basil. This is where we had them old tomatoes, and guess partnering with a few different folks that know a little bit about something or a little bit about a lot. I think we had some fungicide and some other problem, or some fungus getting on a lot of those tomatoes we tried to plant in the spring and really curtailed them. But so we're plowed under, and 2 rows of peas are plowed under, and we're going to pull the corn down this way for fall and plant the tomatoes up on the hill. I've got some pretty leggy ones up there. I imagine their root ball is about as big as my fist in those cups, so we got to get them in the ground tomorrow or the next day. But got to get the old stuff up first, and that's always a chore for those of y'all that are in gardening. Those pretty big pea plants become a little bit tough to manage when you're getting them tilled up. But Jordan and I got after it, got this part done, got a couple of rows of corn pulled up by hand. I picked the flowers off this basil once, but you can see it's back again. Basil is something tricky to can as far as pesto and things like that. It's a lot of risk for botulism and things like that, but there are ways to preserve it. I've got way more than I'll ever eat, and I like it, but not 30 plants of it. There's a good friend of mine, Dawn, up in New York. She grew some up there, and she had some pretty neat ways to preserve fresh basil, including freezing it and some other methods. So we'll harvest a little bit of it and use it along the way. Right now, just about everything I'm cooking gets fresh basil, whether it fits it or not. So whatever that's worth. Old okra's coming on, and plants look pretty. They should be making pretty quick, and I am loaded down with peppers. I've got some hot sauce recipes I'll be doing, but I love banana peppers, and if y'all remember, I followed the advice of some of these master gardeners, and when they first started growing, I topped them, and that encourages a lot more growth on the peppers, and their colors stand out. You can see they are loaded with banana peppers. Isn't that something? So I'm eating my weight in banana peppers. I have to tell one on myself. I'm getting introduced to this canning business and learning it fair enough, but some of the brines I've been making for the deal items, I was going to take some of those banana peppers and pickle them, because I like them and they had a good taste. So I'm making my brine, and I'd already made this brine a couple of times, and I was in a hurry and tired and decided to hustle through it. And about the time I let go of the salt into the brine, I'd realized my mistake. Teaspoons is what it called for. Tablespoon is what it got. So I'm feverishly trying to dip as much salt out of it as I can. Of course, in hot water, you know how successful that was. Made the pickles or the banana peppers all that time, seeding them and getting them stuffed in the jars just right. Tasted one the other night, and I believe the Atlantic Ocean is probably less salty than them poor old banana peppers. So wasn't a whole lot of money in it, but all that's went to waste. Looks like I got plenty to start over with, though, right? So we went from harvesting to canning, and makes me appreciate them old jars that are still in that canning shed, servant house, whatever you want to call it, from 20 years ago. And the day that my aunts decided that they probably could buy it cheaper at the store. I think I was probably 15, 16 before I saw a canned good come from the grocery store on Mama's counter and be open. So I guess I'm a freak among my peers in that way anyway. Probably some other ones. But I thought that was the worst tasting can of green beans I'd ever had in my life, coming out of an old tin can. First full week behind me at Lone Star, really enjoying that, meeting some good folks and learning a lot. Met a gentleman this week that brought some peas up there, and we got to talking. He's in his 80s, got a lot of stories to tell, and I like listening to him. And told him to stop by out here one evening, and he did so tonight. I was glad he timed it right during that heat. I was out there pulling that corn stalk up, and gave me an excuse to take a break. But the stories he told, and he was going to get out there and pick him a mess of cream crowders, and with his age, and he gave it a shot, but his wisdom kicked in and said, "Man, I don't think I can do it." So we picked him a big old bucket of them and threw some banana peppers in there, some jalapenos and bell peppers and tomatoes and eggs, and sat there and visited probably a good hour. Stuff that life is made of. He and I both talked about it. He's got children scattered from California to the East Coast, and he's on 35 acres out in the country, and has begged them from time to time to come out and experience a little bit of the simple life. Kind of tickles me to think about that. They're making $50 an hour in their professions and more. Everything they're working for is sitting right there on that 35-acre patch of his in Nacogdoches County. Unfortunately, they'll probably realize a little too late, but I guess that's how life is. Blessed we are to wake up a little bit before that time, you know. We all have our different times that we wake up. Learning a lot more in my appreciation about respect as I enter a new field and career, new faces, people that working with, good team. And of course that silly story about poor little old lady in Lufkin with no good sense licking a bluebell. I think that's not only a felony, it ought to be a capital crime to mess with bluebell, huh? But just begs people in respect. I think it's pretty much gone. I remember reading about an experiment the Washington Post did with an old boy. He set up outside a train station, that subway system there in Washington, and put his violin up to his chin, turned his hat upside down, and began to play the most intricate Bach composition that had been written. It played long, about 5-10 minutes. Somebody stopped, threw $1 in, kept walking. A little 3-year-old boy come by and Mom pulled him along. Another young man stopped, leaned against the wall, and listened to him a minute, kept going. Over the 45 minutes that he sat and played those pieces with the greatest of skill, 1,000 some odd people walked by. 7 of them stopped and listened for a few minutes. Oh, probably 20 of them threw a little change in the hat. He walked away with $32.17. On that January morning in 2007, as he packed up his case and left, no one would ever have known that that was Joshua Bell, one of the most accomplished violinists in our time, playing one of the most intricate Bach pieces ever written on a $3.5 million violin. Funny to think about people and their perception. Just a few nights before that, he had sold out the Washington Symphony Hall at least $100 a chair for people to hear the same music that he played on that old stoop in the metro station. But because of the timing and the place, people didn't expect it. Therefore, he had not the respect that he did just a few days prior. Never know folks' story. Pays to learn it and take someone at face value, no judging. And I remember as a young man climbing up the corporate ladder and in a management position to hire different folks, and those folks would come through at 50 and 55, getting a restart on their career, and boy, they were just old. That's how we look at it when we're young, isn't it? I don't think we know what we don't know. But it always intrigued me. What was their story? What after maybe years of upper management on their own part, maybe life happened and now they were kind of starting over or just filling in the time, and I always hired them because they always made a good hand. And now on the other side of the fence, I kind of look back and am glad that I was respectful of those souls as I enter into a pretty cool environment with a good company, a good tradition of service, and start over, if you will. It's been a good day and thought a lot about respect this week. I think we'd do well to respect that cashier at the convenience store, or the waiter, or the doctor, the lawyer. We don't know what their stories are. Be well to give them the benefit of the doubt until we find out, right? Still ain't no excuse for licking bluebell, though. So take that for what it's worth. Hey, we'll do a quick roll call and call it a night. I have not got the bobcat yet, and he has evaded capture. That night that we set up to to get him. We were in place, but too many fireworks around. And walking out here now, my little white leghorns roost in the trees, and I'm seeing, looks like he's flipped on this side. There's 2 piles of feathers on the roof, so I guess he decided not to get down in there and take them on the roof. But we'll get him. And no, we're not calling the game warden to transport him, because it'd just be somebody else's problem then. And if they did that in the county, it'd be somebody's house every night trying to trap an animal. So he needs to move on along, and we'll do some preventive measures to keep the next one from coming in there and getting lead poisoning. So that's how we'll work that out. This one's gone too long. It's time to call it. So that's the end of that argument. Anyway, roll call time, and we'll call it an evening. Let's see who all we got checking in. Hey Dorothy, how are you? Nope, didn't. I just updated on that. Guess I answered your question. I'm having to read the comments a little old. There's Bruce, how are you, buddy? Out in Central Texas. Brenda's checking in from Arkansas. There's Rita. Got a little rain here in Douglasville, Georgia. Hope all is well there. Yeah, it is. We're setting in for the high pressure dome of summertime. I don't think I'll get quite the rain I did on this first spring garden, so we'll see how it works out, right? It is what it is. We'll just take what comes. I got plenty of peas if it don't make. Having a good weekend, Diana. Thank you. There's Miss Melinda from Oregon. Thank you. Seen some pictures of your place. That looks nice up there as well. And there's Kathy and Trinity. Aggie, thank you for a nice garden compliment. You didn't top your peppers? Well, I guess you'll have pretty plants. Hope you get some peppers out of them. You'll get 2 or 3 anyway. There's Donna in Pensacola. Carrie saying good evening. How are you? Let's see. We got Andrew checking in from. I meant to look that up. I'm gonna have to take a course on how to pronounce that. I'm gonna give it another stab. We're gonna call it Interlochen, Florida. How's that? I don't know if I did it right or not. Yeah, I'm gonna jar up the banana peppers. I just updated on the bobcat. Respect for mom and dad and their legacy is what keeps me going. Bruce, you and me both, brother. That's good stuff. Phyllis is saying, howdy, how are you? There's Patricia. The rabbits are doing well. My good friend Linda, right down the road, I want to tell the owner, but I guess she'll hear it here. So, beautiful rabbits. Had a nice little coop in there, safe as all get out. Linda stopped by. That was the young lady that gave me Rooster Cogburn and the other little white rooster. Of course, you know, Rooster died on Mother's Day. The Cogburn did. Had a stroke or something. He was in the house acting goofy. We was trying to nurse him back to health and just found him dead. But and then the little white one was acting a little goofy, so sent him back home. He's still alive, just still, I don't know if it was a medicine or what it was, but anyway, she stopped by because she helped with that first round of incubation, and I needed her opinion on one of my first chicks that hatched, and we have decided and confirmed it's rooster, and it's definitely off of old Cogburn. So one out of all of them survived, so we got to keep bubble wrap around that one until he gets old enough to sire some more hens. And so we did get a little baby out of Rooster Cogburn, I believe, after all. But all that to say this, she said her grandkids would love some rabbits, and I know her setup down there is predator safe, and it lets the rabbits kind of get. Of course, we mix them in with the chickens, but they've got an open air run that's sealed from the top and sides and all around, and so we decided that would probably be the best home for those rabbits. And so they're right down the road a couple of miles, and sent me a couple of pictures, and they are loving it. So they were in this little coop in here and kind of shut up and not really open air, safe but not really livable long term. So main thing was to have a good home for those critters, and they've got it. So we'll have to get a picture or two along the way, and we'll post them on the page. But they're doing fine, and I guess for a couple dollars a head, she'd probably let you visit. No, I'm kidding. But they're doing fine. That's the rabbit story. Wendy, how are you? Brenda down in Wendy, Texas. There's Sandra. How are you? And our dear friend Linda, how are you? Good to see you checking in. Aggie's saying hello, and let's see, there's Cheryl. Well, thank you for that. Just sharing what I think about. Sometimes I have to keep a few thoughts to myself. There's Emily from Lebanon. Yeah, it has been a while. And Brenda's checking in from Beckville. Hope you're doing better. And Sandra, he's doing fine. I saw you had some prayer requests the other evening. Hope all is straightened out there. And there's Miss Linda. And Dave saying hello from, hang on, Lackawaxen, Pennsylvania. Maybe that, I hope I got that right. Well, good. Enjoy that time with that great grand. And there's Miss Charlotte down Trinity Way, and an old co-worker, Ricky. Not old, but, oh man, I'm in trouble already, ain't I? Tell John hello. Love and miss y'all too. Dear co-workers there at Cabela's back in Waco. Opened that store together, and dear souls, good friends. Good to see them checking in. So, old as in, we used to work together, not old as in age. That get me out of the doghouse, I hope. Chicken coop, whatever it is. Roy said howdy from Houston, and Brian and Deb Long's checking on. All right, well, sun's down and street lights are on, and I got a few chores to do, and I don't know if I'm gonna get that bobcat tonight or not, but anyway, I wasn't gonna be able to sit out there last night, so I pulled an old country boy trick with I think it worked for last night. They're pretty savvy animals, and they do not like human scent. And I decided I needed to get rid of a little coffee over there by the tree that he climbs. Y'all can figure it out. So I think that kept him away last night. I don't know if it'll work twice. But he's gonna get some lead poison before it's over with. It is what it is. Y'all have a good weekend. Hope you're gonna celebrate your faith somewhere tomorrow. We'll be over in Huntington with family and enjoy the day, right? Giving thanks for a ton of blessings. Man, we're blessed. I'll have to share some more stories that me and the fellow that stopped by today, boy, he had a ton of them. At 80-something years, I guess you get a few. Stories of home brew in the 1930s and mule sleds and fish fries. We'll leave it at that. How about that? Y'all have a good evening. Be the light. We'll talk with y'all later.